What's going on, guys? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day today, and in today's video we're going to talk about the basics of options trading using TD Thinkorswim and how to actually put in your first order. We're also going to talk about some of the tips or tricks that can help you guys getting better fills in your orders in the future. Alright, this is going to be a series of videos that I'll be making in the weeks to come, so make sure you guys go ahead and smash that like button. It only takes a few seconds for you guys to do so, and make sure you hit that notification bell. So without further ado, let's get started. When you guys open your TD Thinkorswim platform, what you're going to see is this software. Alright, so you have your charts under the charts tab and you change the tickers right here. Now your charts are probably going to look slightly different than mine. They're going to be a black background, some of your candles might be hollow, but if you guys want a similar setup, I do have a separate video explaining how you guys can make your charts look like this. Go ahead and watch that and come back here and then we can get going again. Alright, so currently we are looking at the Tesla stock. So let's say we want to trade options on SPY. So we pull up the SPY ticker right here. This is the SPY daily chart. We can switch it to the 5-minute chart if we want to trade options on a day trade perspective, and we can see that this is the 5-minute chart. Now how do we actually go ahead and put in our orders? In order to do that, we have to change to the trade tab, and right here is where it gets very exciting. So at the top left here, what you want to put in is the ticker you want to trade, and what that's going to do, it's going to pull up all the options information right here. Okay, now if you're going from charts back down to trade and then putting the ticker in, it can be a valuable time consumption that takes place when you're doing that. An easier way for you to do this is go to your charts, this little box right here at the top left, the symbol link, click that and change it to a card color. So usually, for example, I put lilac. So now this chart, SPY, the 5-minute SPY chart is linked to this number 9, this purple color here. Then I go back to the trades tab, and right here I can change this to lilac as well. Now if I go to the trades tab again, and let's say I want to trade Apple, I put in the Apple chart. Apple's going to pop up here. I simply go back to the trade, and here you go. It's already populated Apple. Alright, perfect. Now we know how to link the chart with the options tab. Now when you're on trade tab, this is where it's going to give you all your options data. One of the key things that you guys need to pay attention to is right here. Alright, this is your expiry dates. Alright, when we're trading options, we have a few things we look at: expiry and strike. Alright, so this is our expiry dates. This tells us how far out we want to choose our expiries and so forth. There's a certain rule that I follow when it comes to this. If you guys haven't watched my basics to options trading video, go ahead and watch that. It is on my YouTube channel that explains choosing strikes, choosing expiries, and so forth. But let's say you guys know all that and you're ready to put in your first order. What you're going to want to do here is expand one of the expiries that you're looking at. Now if we expand the April 8th expiry, this tells us that we're looking at the April 8th expiry and our strikes are all right here. Okay, so these are the strikes that we're looking at, and when you guys are looking at what strike to choose, you have to look at a few things, and that is your delta, your theta, and so forth. Now if you guys can see, that information is not provided to us here. What we have is last net volume bid and ask. We do not have the delta and the theta, and in order for us to get that, we're going to have to click this layout button right here, and once we click that, we're going to go to customize. Alright, now once we customize that, we can add a few things here. Okay, so on the left side, I'm going to search for delta, I'm going to add it, I'm going to search for theta, I'm going to add it, and I also want to add open interest. Alright, and I'm going to add this as well. Okay, perfect. Now we can see that we have what? We have our delta, we have our theta, we have our open interest, and we also have our volume. These are good things I want to pay attention to. We have our strikes all right here, and we are now currently on the April 8th expiry. Alright, perfect. Now, what we need to pay attention to, if you guys do watch my basics to options video, certain things I look at, I want to buy options contracts that have a delta of at least 45 and higher. So what does this mean? This means that every time the stock moves up $1, our options premium that we pay, this 0.77, is going to go up by 44 cents per contract. All right, that's what I want to pay attention to. I want to buy options that are at least 44 delta, which means every time the dollar moves up and every time a dollar move on the stock is made, the options contract is going to go up by 44 cents. So everything on the left side here is calls. All right, these are all calls, and anything on the right side is the puts. All right, as you can see, it's labeled right here as well, puts and calls. When you guys are expecting a stock to go up, you're buying calls. When you guys are expecting a stock to go down, you're buying puts. All right, now we have all of this here. We have our information. We know what date what expiry we're gonna choose, and we know what strike we want to choose. But what happens if the strike is not actually listed here? Right at the top, you have this right here. This tells us that you have the ability to choose how many strikes are actually displayed here. You can display only 6, you can display 14, or in fact, you can change it manually and put 30, right? So now it's showing 30 of the closest strikes and expiries to the underlying, okay? Now you have a bigger list. You can even go to all if you want, and it's going to display everything, but I like to keep it at 14, again, because I'm only looking at a delta of 0.45 and above, and that usually happens to be either one of these that are out of the money or in the money. It's usually either one of these two that happens to do the trick for me. So that's usually what I have it on. I have it on 14, okay? Now you've established the ticker you want to trade. You've managed to quickly put it on this tab by using the cards here, the colors cards, and you've established what you want to trade, okay? Now on the platform itself, there's a few ways that you can do it, and a lot of people sometimes that are new traders have a hard time. Now, if you want to buy a contract, you have to be sure to click on the ask in order for this to turn into a buy. Some people make the mistake of clicking on the bid, and your order actually becomes a negative. You're going to be shorting the option instead of buying it to go long. That's a whole nother video. We're not going to discuss that now, but you guys want to make sure that you're actually buying the options contract that you want instead of selling it. You can see we're selling here. So we're going to delete this, and we're going to go in and click on the ask. This automatically puts us in a buy order. Okay. Now, once we are in this buy order, we need to pay attention to a few things here. Okay. First of all, that we're on the buy side. We have the number of contracts here. We have the expiry. We have the strike. It's a call. The price, limit order, and the day you can leave as is. All right, so I'm going to get rid of my camera here a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. But essentially what we're looking at here is the options contract, and we're willing to pay for it. Okay, now another thing you have to pay attention to when you guys are putting these orders is the bid and ask. All right, in this case, we can see the bid is 310, which means what the buyers are waiting to buy at, and the ask is 335, what the sellers are waiting to sell at. Okay, now if you come here and you want to get into this contract as quickly as possible, you're gonna have to buy from the person who's offering you the cheapest price, and in that case is the people sitting at 335 to sell. So you come here, you adjust your options contract, and you tell the computer, okay, you want to take 5 contracts. Okay, it's buy, it's the April 8th expiry. You have the strike of 172.5, which is exactly what we want. And here is where you have to kind of establish how quickly and how fast you want to get into the trade. Now, in another video, I'm going to talk about how you guys can use Active Trader and kind of set up your charts in a way where it's going to make you so fluid in getting in and out of that options contract, where it's going to be very sufficient for you to quickly put in contracts and orders with a simple click of a button. But for this video, we're just going to talk about the basics of actually putting in your first order and how everything kind of works on this end before we jump into the next thing here. Okay, so you're going to want to see how fast and how urgently you want to get into the contract. Here, if you put 335, you're going to get filled almost instantly. At this point, you're putting a limit order, and then you're going to press confirm and send. So today's Saturday, so this order is not going to work. But let's say you wanted to get a better fill. You didn't want to buy at 335, so you would have to change this order to around 330, right? Maybe 320. You're still above the bid, but you're now in between the bid and ask. This is another way of getting a better price when the spreads are getting a little bit wonky. All right. Now, if you guys are trading a ticker like SPY, for example, the SPY has very tight bid and ask. And what I mean by that, when you guys hear traders say there's a tight bid and ask, the difference between the bid and ask is not very high. There's not a big gap between the bid and ask. This is only a 3-cent gap. So oftentimes, when you're trading a stock that doesn't have that much of a gap, you can very easily come in, put your contracts to buy. Let's say you want to buy 5 contracts. You see everything is correct, and you simply change this to market order, and you get in, because you're either going to get filled at 30, you're going to get filled at 3, 301, 302, or 303. The spread is very tight. It's not going to make that much of a difference unless you're trading with $1 million in size, but I'm currently not doing that, and I don't think many people watching this video are. So you can market order, and this is not going to be that big of a difference for you. You press confirm and send, and you'll get filled anywhere between 3 and 303, sometimes 3 and 302. So that 1 cent difference is not going to make that much of a difference. All right. So that is how essentially you guys will put in your first order. Those are the main things you guys pay attention to, and you always want to make sure that you're understanding what strike and which side of the trade you're on. Okay, sometimes as new traders, again, like I said, they accidentally hit the bid button and they put themselves in a short position, not understanding what's really going on. And when the stock is going the way they want, they're actually losing money. All right, now the same thing on the put side. If we're looking to trade a puts option, we're looking at a delta of between 0.45 and 0.55. So again, even on the put side, it happens to be one of these two right here. All right. So we can choose any one of these and be okay with it. And same thing on the put side, guys. You want to make sure you're clicking on the ask in order to get into the position to buy a put. All right. So you always want to buy to open and sell to close. You don't want to sell to open, because that puts you in a position to be in a short trade. Okay. So that is as far as the basics of options, linking the charts together. And I'm going to touch base on very quickly on how you guys can actually take this another step to get you guys better fills using the active trader. Okay, so let's say we go back and we want to trade Apple. All right, we want to trade Apple. We looked at the delta. We see that this is the delta we like. We're trying to day trade it. So I see that this 175, for example, is what I want to buy the options contract on. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to press copy, and this is going to copy the code for that options expiry and strike. Then we're going to go to the charts again. We're going to paste it here. Okay, so Control V. We're going to press enter. And what this is going to do, this is going to pull up the options chart. This is not the Apple chart. This is the options chart for that actual strike and expiry that we have chosen. And on the right side here, we're going to go to active trader. We're going to click this drop down, and this gives us a ladder format where we can actually come in and adjust what we want, where we want to put our order in a very visual, horizontal, vertical plane that we can take a look at. It's essentially a ladder. It's called a ladder. We can come here and adjust the number of contracts we want. We know we're in the Apple April 8th 175 calls, which is exactly what we chose back here in the options chain. Now we have this ladder. We can see all the ask, everyone that's waiting to sell up here. We can see everyone that's willing to buy down here. Okay, so simply we're going to adjust the contract size. We're going to click auto send, and as soon as we click here, the order is going to go out. We're not going to have to worry about all that other stuff we looked at in the other window where the horizontal was, the limit order and all that. We can literally just adjust the contract size, and with a single click of the button, we can get involved by visually seeing where the ask is and where the bid is. Okay, now by visually seeing where the bid and ask is, we can establish, okay, do we want a market order? And if we do, we simply come up here and press market. Or are we going to use limit orders? And if that's the case, we really have to just change the contract and click on the ladder here, depending on, you know, what we want. Okay. So this is just a basics intro on how to use the active trader. But in the next video, I'm going to talk about how to set up your charts so you can really take advantage of the bid and ask, as well as how to kind of organize your screens to kind of get you that best fill when things are moving so fast and you want to get in and out very quickly. All right, so this is the first video in a few series regarding using TD Thinkorswim with options and so forth. If you guys did appreciate this video, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so when I post a video, you guys will get notified. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Comment down below, let me know how you guys found this video, if it was interesting, and if you want more videos to come out, and what kind of videos do you want me to make for you guys. Thank you for watching, and make sure you guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.